What's up, future millionaires? MTI here, and today we're going to be diving into some alpha that was shared with me by a whale in the drip garden. Now, they invested 30K, and according to them, they're one of the top 25 wallets in the garden itself. And if you look at Dune, we can see there's well over 30,000 players that is in the garden itself. They also share with me some screenshots that I can share with you, which will show the size of their garden. And let me tell you, it is massive. And we're also going to be diving into the email itself so we can look at some of the alpha kind of on what they experienced and noticed since they've been in the drip garden. Now, before we dive into today's alpha, let's jump into the Faucet and my personal garden. Let's check it out. Now, looking at the drip price, we can see it's around $7.04. Now, it can be higher or lower at the time when you see this video. If we head over to the Faucet, I've already compounded for it today. You can see I have over 2,392 drip in the current Faucet, which is just under 17K. If we head on over to the animal farm to the drip garden here, you can see I've already compounded as well. For today, I have 1.6 million plants. And if we look over to Drip's Farmer's House, here you can see my updated screenshot of the garden, 1.6 million plants, planting over 53,000 plants per day. Here's my ownership, which I'm trying to get up into the 7s and then also into the 0.10. Here's the contract balance, which is still constantly growing. And then here's the drip BUSD of course. Now, if you look over to drip.formulate.finance, I want to pull this up because I want to show you as we're looking at this email, you're going to see how this will adjust in real time. So you can also see this is showing you as well. So real quick, right now I have 10.6014 LPs. There is a decay not only on the plants, the seed price, but there's also a decay on the LPs as well, which you're going to notice as we're talking about. So I want to have this pulled up here. And so now let's go ahead and dive into the alpha for today. So if you look at this email here, Drip Garden Wallet experience from a top 25 wallet, you can see I got this email September 16th, 2022. Now, I'm not going to read this full thing, but you can also take a screenshot and read all of this if you want. And so real quick, he does say, "Thank you for the videos that you publish. You and Coach are two of my favorite drip YouTubers. So first and foremost, shout out to you." And real quick, if you don't know who Coach is, he is referring to Drip Coach right here, which he makes great content. I do love his Cambodia content as well. So keep making that content, man, and shout out to him. But this is who this guy is. Go subscribe to him if you don't know who that is. And so one thing I want to say before we dive into this, I don't know if this is a male or a woman, and quite frankly, I don't care. I do want to say thank you, though, for sharing this because I like to see what other people with money in the ecosystem is doing, and I like to see how they're thinking as well because I do think it's beneficial for everyone that's in the ecosystem. So keep sharing this content, whether you want me to share this publicly or you just want to share it with me. Keep sending me emails. Now, as you can see, they say I have a 20-plus year career in finance, have been in stocks since 2007, crypto since 2017, and have been in drip since last September. However, it wasn't invested until May. Now, they go on to say I'm not claiming to be an expert or trying to criticize anyone. They just want to kind of share what they've experienced and noticed. So you can see, yes, I do have a top 25 garden wallet, and we're going to get to the screenshots, which you can see right here. So let's dive in. Now, there are a couple things I have noticed with the garden that made me drop 30K on it in July/August. I'm not going to lie, there's a ton going on with the garden, and I'm trying to understand it all, so I will try to explain what I have noticed best I can. So you can see, even with a person that invested 30K by dollar cost averaging into the garden, still may not fully understand all the mechanics, but they understand enough to make that money. So let's dive in. Drip BUSD token value was $7.84 on September 28th, 2021, with a Drip BUSD liquidity value of 134K. Pay attention to this. Now, on July 25th, 2022, 10 months later, the Drip BUSD token hit a double bottom and the value was $7.86 with a Drip BUSD liquidity value of 5.4 million. That's crazy. Do you see the increase in the liquidity floor? They say bullish, which that is. So let me go back real quick. Check this out. At 784 back in September of last year, the bottom was $7.84, and it only had a liquidity value of $134,000. Now you look here at the liquidity value when it hit the double bottom, which was a few months ago in July 25th, 786. The bottom is 5.4 million. So it went from 134K in liquidity to 5.4 million. That's hella bullish. Let's keep moving. The drip liquidity and the price on July 25th, 2022 was $5.13 with a supply of 317K drip. Now listen to this. The previous time the supply was close to this was June 26, 2021, which is a little bit over a year ago at the time of the July 25th date. Now, the token price was at $3.86. Do you see the increase in the floor price here? Bullish. So before I read this line, let me go back to this. The drip liquidity and price on July 25th of this year, 2022, was at $5.13, and I was dollar cost averaging around this time as well, with a supply of 317K drip. The previous time the supply was close to this was a year before that, June 26, 2021, and the price was $3.86. So the floor price went from $3.86 to $5.13. And then also the liquidity went from 134K to 5.4 million. So you can see the increase is happening. This is bullish. This is why they're dropping or have dropped 30K. Now, as we get to this line here, when drip hit its high of $201 and they're going off of the native DEX, the supply was roughly 68K. How much higher will the price be next time drip has a supply around 68,000? It's a great question. People were confused as to why the plant value was decaying so fast and why the value wasn't increasing. From what I have noticed, the garden is not all about the plants you are growing, but more about your total LP ratio. The plants are being grown at such a high rate, but because we are earning them, it is helping us keep our value, but not necessarily increasing our value. This is huge to understand right here. So you have probably noticed that your plant stats keep increasing. Your LP stats may not always be increasing when you compound. So not only is there a decay on the plants, but also a decay on your total LP value. And I have noticed some better times to compound than others. So before we move here, let's go to drip.formulate. And this is why I pulled this up. Right now it is 10.6014. I'm going to refresh this and see if this LP has changed. And here you can see it was just 10.6014. Now it is 10.6002. And this is the decay that they are talking about. But you can still see my daily return is over 100 here, right? But this is why some people hyper compound. Me, I've just been doing once per day and I've been able to get to this point. Let's head back into the alpha of the email. So as we hit here, earlier today, when I did my first compound, I had a total LP value of 3561. After my second compound, I had 3563 for a gain of almost 2 LPs. Now, since my last compound, I've currently have 3548 LP plus the 7.44. So you can see he's lost some LP, right? Because remember, if you look right here, earlier today, he had a total of 3561. After he compounded, he had 3563, so he gained 2 LPs. Now, since the last compound, he now has 3548, so you can see he's lost from the 3563, right? However, he's gained 7.44, but it doesn't completely offset that 13 LP loss, give or take. So I can compound for a rough total of 355, which is a loss of 7.6 LPs. So even though I have increased my plant production, my overall LP value has decreased as well as how much LP I am earning. So they go on to say is what they have noticed is when the people are adding to the LP pool and the price stabilizes and it even increases your total LP ratio when we start seeing these elephant transactions pop up. So depending on the time you compound will depend on if you are increasing your total LP ratio or not. So when people are adding to the garden, you will see the number increase. And to me, this is the best time to either compound or take profits because you are still increasing your LP earnings without decreasing your LP production. So the last part here talks about their investment in the garden. So it says they invested dollar cost average just over $30K into the garden as of 8/11/2022. I am currently on day 36 with this bag, and I have increased my total LP ratio by 777 LPs, or a 27.9% increase. So mostly by compounding at a better time than just any time. And so if I wasn't earning plants to help stabilize my bag, then I would be down well over 30% right now. This is why the pool works, and this is why you want to make sure you're compounding to keep up with that decay. So one other thing is that when I started, I had roughly 5 million plants and should have earned about 110% after 30 days for a total of roughly 10.5 million plants. On day 30, I had just over 14 million plants, so it's highly likely that you will earn those 1 million plants faster than your 10-day projection. And they're talking about my latest video that came out based off of me having 2 million plants in 14 days, give or take. So if we look down here on the screenshots, and then this is also what I responded back to them as well. Don't know, of course, this is not their real name, I'm sure, but what's up, D-Gen? I really appreciate you sharing this with me. I would definitely make some content out of this. It's nice to know how whales are thinking. Also completely understand as far as being anonymous, no worries. All right, so now let's look at this screenshot. It is a massive wallet. So as you can see here, the plant grown 16.8 million. Plants value 33,868 in USD. If you look at what they're making per day, $1,100 per day. You can see the week, per month, per year. Now, of course, they do have to compound to keep up that high daily 3% rate, but you can just see based off of this size of the garden, and they said this is a top 25 wallet, which I believe it is. They are correct on that. So 16.8 million plants grown, over 33K in value, and you can see how much they are producing per day. And also this is per hour, right? And this is not just 8 hours a day. This is all 24 hours, $47 all 24 hours. So if they want to break that up, they can do that. And so this is just, you know, the power of being in the drip ecosystem. So I want to say shout out to them for sharing this alpha. Let me know if you gain some value from this, because this is nice to see how people with money in the ecosystem, how they are looking at this thing, how are they looking at the ecosystem, why they invested 30K, because you can definitely see at the bottom parts, things have definitely increased as far as liquidity and all of that, which tells us there is more people coming into the ecosystem. There's more money being locked up, which means when things really start to pump, we're most likely going to see things go parabolic. And so if you gain some value, smash that like button on your way out. Shout out to the drip community, and I will catch you on the next one.